So hello everyone, my name is Dr. Swapnil. So I will be your course coordinator and lead faculty for this AMC Part 1 examination course. So we have Dr. Udara with us. We would like to share our stories, how we actually started and how we attempted this exam. And I would like to start this with just a simple quote from Nelson Mandela, which says that until you do it, it seems impossible. And this applies to every one of us, and it applied to me as well when I started it. To me, it felt like I won't be able to do it because I have already done a post graduation, and it was 4 years, 5 years since I completed my MBBS and the basic graduation. But it is rightly said, it will be impossible until you do it. So it's worth doing it than regretting. So I would like Dr. Udara to first start how she approached this exam and share her stories.
Yeah. So actually, for me, I have come to Australia in January, and then I have come with like visitor visa, not to do like AMC or anything. I just came to visit my husband over here, and then like after some months, I wanted to start with AMC because like we actually, for me, I when I came here, I was actually thinking all the time that this is not a possible exam to do because everyone was telling the same thing to me. So they were saying that it's a hard exam, like you have to try 6 7 times and still you will fail. So just find some other job and maybe like slowly you can do it. But I was like kind of sure about myself. So I was thinking like, no, maybe I can do it. And I was graduated in 2019. And then I have come to Australia in 2022. It was after 3 years, I think, after my graduation. I have worked in Sri Lanka for some time, but it was during COVID time. So it was not like so much using our knowledge. So I can say that I'm a like fresh graduate when I have come here. Like after coming here, I slowly like from March onwards, I was slowly like thinking of doing the exam, and I didn't have any guidance. So I started like slowly. But at the meantime, I met Swapnil, and she was my study partner from the beginning. So we both started, but we were both clueless and we didn't know like what to do. And we were both always thinking that we couldn't do it. Like always we are thinking like how to do this is like because the things that they asked, we were always thinking like it's not doable. So we were both always like studying, but still at the same time we were not having motivation. But slowly I started, but I was consistent with my studies. But actually like not every day, like every hour, but like in some sense like once a week or twice a week I was doing it. But finally I booked my exam in last August, and I started like doing it kind of like in a way that I will do it somehow. And then for around 5 to 6 months, I prepared very well. And like I studied a lot, like some days, like around 12 to 14 hours, maybe like 15 hours. And then finally, like everyone was telling like February exam was the hardest exam. Don't do in February because if you do in February, you will not pass because they don't usually repeat recalls in February. But like I was not thinking like so much about that. So I actually booked in February and I did the exam in February and passed. So like that is my story. And
Yeah, so it's actually rightly said. So this is a process, and just
yeah.
that we have cleared the exam, we we are here to just share our journey, like how we did it, and maybe some part of that can help you guys. So yeah, as she had already briefed, so it's same with me. With me, it was a little. I would say I was very annoyed in the beginning because I have given my country a post graduation competitive exam. I cleared that exam. I went into a specialty course. I did 3 years of post graduation training, and I also cleared my post graduation examination and all those things, and then coming over here and studying again for an exam for which I have a basic knowledge from 6 years back was very difficult. And I can see we have people here who have graduated MBBS 5 to 6 years back. And for those people, I am like, I can understand your feeling to start this, journey again, but it is worth it. That is what I can say. So for me, I had like, I was following up with the AMC standards, exam courses, and all those things for about a year before coming over here. But because I was also working full time in my country, I could not manage to actually, prepare for it. So once I landed over here, I started with Dr. Udara. But it was like just 1 or 2 months. We sat down, we prepared a timetable, we tried to, get hold of things. But it takes a lot of time if you don't have the right guidance to actually understand what this exam is asking out of you. So it took a lot of time for us to understand, but eventually we were together so we could figure it out. But for me, it became like lost the touch of the thing, and it, like, for next 3 to 4 months I could not concentrate, or I have family commitments, and I did not actually give a thought for the exam. But then, like, she booked it in August, so similarly I also booked for the November exam during the same time in June, July. And once you book the exam, you know that is the motivation for you. So if you guys are planning to give the exam, I would just recommend, please book a date. Once you have a deadline, you know that you have that amount of time to prepare, and then only you give your 100%. Otherwise you keep postponing things. So once I booked the exam, I actually knew that my exam is coming up in 4 months. And I also know that I am not a fresh graduate, so I have to go back to my basics to first understand what is the thing, and then I have to come back to AMC pattern and approach and understand the question. So it was actually a tough task, but eventually everyone manages, and I could also manage to do it. So yes, I committed myself for next 4 months for like 10 to 12 hours to prepare for this exam. And to be very frank with you guys, like, when I started, I actually forgot, what is the process of labor? Like I have to go back to that much of the basics to first understand and then come back to the question. So sometimes it does need that much of your, time and efforts to go back to your basics and then come back. So I did it for about 4 months, and then eventually I could succeed in the exam in the first attempt. And yes, to me also it appeared that it is not a doable exam, but it is. It is actually a very doable exam if you understand what they're asking out of you, and if you know how to approach the questions. So that was my journey.